Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. I don't know if you can or not. This might go into, oh goodness, we're going to get an echo here. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. This is kind of a new way that I am doing this with the whole scheduling stuff, and we'll see how it goes, right? So anyways, title of this live was Everything's Telling You to Do This Thing, but it's only keeping you stuck. So, oh my goodness, what is it, right? So I want to give you a little bit of a background story around this. I was at a party this weekend, and I was speaking to two of my friends that I hadn't seen in a while. And what I found that was really interesting is that one was still stuck in their job and just sort of like fantasizing ways out, right? Like just, it's been sort of the story, it's been the story with this friend and with a few of our other friends. And I think it's like the story of a lot of people's lives, right? And then our other friend, we show up and they were crushing it, right? Like had lost a bunch of weight, was just killing it with their goals, was just like absolutely just crushing at life, doing so well. And I got to thinking, you know, both had been working through things for a little while, and there was just this really stark difference between the two, right? It was a very stark difference in the method and their journey towards self-development, despite the fact that they were both really in this self-development place. Now, just really quickly there, for those of you who are joining who don't know me, I'm Heather Bristanti. I help coaches, consultants, and agencies attract and close more high-ticket clients. So if you think you may know somebody who is struggling to get to the next level with their business, then, you know, share this out. I'd be so grateful. We're going to be talking. It's not going to be a very long live stream here, but we're going to be talking a little bit today just about this thing that is just rampant in the self-development industry, and it's really keeping people stuck. It's really keeping people stuck. And, you know, I've been seeing this and I've been seeing this. And so let me know if you are here, share it out, and we will definitely, oh goodness, I've got like some sort of error thing coming up. So hopefully some things are going okay here, and hopefully you guys can hear and see me okay. Okay, so let's pop into a little bit about, I'm going to just get right into it here. All right, so most people in the self-development industry, they sort of go through this, you know, really coaching on mindset, really coaching on belief, doing a ton of journaling, like a shit ton of journaling, right? And the whole premise of that is if you believe, then you can do, and then you will achieve, right? So the common thing that holds people back is that they don't believe that they can do it, and so therefore they sort of stay stuck, right? And like the big thing is like, get unstuck, do the mindset work, get unstuck, do the mindset work. So, for example, I have a client right now who is, she's a new coach. Well, she's not really a new coach. She has a new coaching business. She's actually been coaching for a very long time, has coached even Olympic athletes. Like, it was really just like so amazing. And she just has this super high superpower. She is what I would call a unicorn coach. Like, she's just got it going on when it comes to coaching. And the funny thing is, and it's not even funny because this happens to everyone, right? She's going out and she's doing, and then she gets a little bit stuck because we go into imposter syndrome, right? We're like, oh my gosh, who am I? Who's going to pay me these prices? Like, oh my goodness, I had one person say that would be too much money for people. And so therefore, who am I to do this, right? Like we kind of get stuck. And there are so many instances that these things happen, right? Like these things keep popping up all the time in our business. And so we tend to say like, okay, if I can get past my imposter syndrome, if I can make that go away, then I can do and then I can achieve. But here's the truth, right? The order of that, and it's just very much a straight line, is do, achieve, and then believe, right? And so if we're spending a lot of time trying to fix our mindset and trying to get into the right mindset, a lot of the times we just simply can't get there, right? Until we do the thing and we see the achievement. And so I think it is totally rad to, you know, be working with people and to really understand and to help to mold the way that you think. I work with a couple of energy healers. You know, they really have helped me clear some things and some of the things that, like, the self-sabotage kind of stuff, right? But the thing is that until we actually see the result from something, we don't actually change our mindset and our belief. And so if we can skip a whole lot of steps, we can skip so many steps, if we just do the thing and we trust the process. And really there's 2 steps to this, right? Number 1, we have to trust the process. So we need to know, like, okay, this thing is going to work. I'm just going to trust it, and I probably don't even believe it at this point in time. So that might be that you're going to be launching this new offer, or you're going to be raising your prices, right? Like I've got a client right now who she is changing up how she wants to serve people. And that's super scary, right? Because how are your old clients going to receive it when you tell them, like, hey, I'm just not working with people in this capacity anymore. Look, when I do that, my shirt, like, it makes my body look really weird. Anyways. And so she's in this process. It's super scary to tell people who have been your bread and butter to be like, I'm just not into this anymore. Like, I'm changing. My business is changing. The direction that I'm taking this thing is changing. And, you know, then we sort of get into that fear of, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make money again. Or, oh my gosh, these people are going to hate me because I'm ditching this thing. I'm in this right now. Like, I was actually just talking to some of my mentors about this. I was like, yo, like, I know that this one thing that I'm doing right now is just not serving me. I know that I have to let it go. And yet I know that people will be disappointed. And so I feel like I need to be there for them. I feel like I need to continue doing it, even though it's not serving me still. And so, you know, we can work through that mindset stuff when we have the confidence blocks there to begin with, right? But until I actually go out and do that thing, until I actually release it and let it go, I'm not going to actually believe that it was the right thing, right? Like once I go and I do and I achieve, and then you're able to reflect back on the wins and sort of what got you to those wins, then what it does is it just like stacks another block on your stack of confidence, right? And so I think in a video that I talked about last week, I talked about how if I said to you, hey, every single day I hang out with this really cool magical unicorn and they sit here beside me and like we hang out, we have gin and you know, we just have a good time. You'd be like, this girl's freaking crazy, right? Like totally crazy. But if all of a sudden the same magical unicorn showed up for you and was like, you were hanging out and you were drinking whiskey with them the next week, you'd be like, maybe Heather wasn't so crazy, right? And then, so you would get one little block of confidence. You'd be like, maybe Heather wasn't so crazy because like this unicorn's here and now I'm seeing it. Seeing is believing, right? And so once we see that we can achieve, then we start to believe. Then we start to like, really fill out those mindset blocks, right? So although journaling can really help us, I think that, you know, how we need to do that is journaling needs to be about reflecting in on the wins. It needs to be reflecting in on, you know, how it is that you got there in the first place. I was just actually goal planning with one of my clients this morning, and, you know, her goal is to fill up a program, and I said to her, like, you know, how did you sell stuff last year? Like, you sold a bunch of stuff last year. How did you do it last year? And we just reflected on what worked for her, right? And we put together the strategy. And then it's like, whether or not you believe this is going to work, whether or not you believe that this program is good, you just need to go out and do the thing. Like, let's just trust in the process, and then the belief comes after, right? So here are a lot of things that come up, you know, and just going back to the unicorn example, right? If somebody said to you, well, you know, you were actually, like, I slipped you some LSD, and so that's why you were seeing that magical unicorn, you'd be like, whoa, that block of confidence would go back down to 0, right? And if the next day you were like, hey, now I know I'm lucid, I know I'm not on drugs, you saw that unicorn again, you get another block of confidence. And then if you showed up the next day, another block of confidence. And eventually, instead of getting knocked back to ground zero, when something happens, it's just a few blocks come off. But you still have this good little stack of confidence that's sitting there that it will allow you to have this more deep-rooted belief and to be more confident and to be more present and to really know that you can do it, right? But when you're first starting out, I promise you that something's going to happen. It's going to knock you back with your blocks of confidence. And the only way to get them going again is to do and achieve and to trust the process. And so if you have a mentor, you can kind of go to them. Even if you're just doing your own plan, it really doesn't matter where that advice is coming from. You just need to trust that it's going to work. Because here's the thing, everything will work if you do the work. Right? Like everything will eventually work, but you need to reflect on, you know, which pieces do you need to tweak? You need to be a little bit agile in the process. Now, what happens, you know, so what happens if you just don't know whether or not it will work? What happens if you don't trust that it will work, right? So here's the thing. You don't have to know for sure that it will work. You just have to be willing to take that first step in moving forward. So if you could just take that first little step in moving forward, then what I would challenge you to do is to stop after some amount of time has passed. For me, I like to do it for a couple of weeks. Most people will do it for like a couple hours, freak out, ditch the whole thing, right? So give yourself enough time to actually see if the thing is making any sort of progress. So stop and then measure and then actually just sort of reflect back and be like, okay, so what is moving the needle? What isn't moving the needle? The stuff that is moving the needle, can we do more of that? The stuff that isn't moving the needle, why is that? Do I need to ditch it? Do I need to tweak it? Right? And then go out and do a little bit more. So now, because we reflected on our wins, right, and we understood what was moving the needle, now we just got a little block of confidence here, okay? So the more that you do that and the more that you reflect, and the reflection is really, really important. So if you like to do journaling, you like to do those things, like that's cool. I do journaling every once in a while, right? But I don't hide it. I'm not doing hours per day of journaling so that to get my mindset straight, because the thing is, like, if you're just out there doing the thing, your mindset and your beliefs are going to change because you're going to be reflecting on your wins, right? You're going to see the things happen, and seeing is deep rooting like all of these really great beliefs. So not saying that you shouldn't do the mindset work, not saying that you shouldn't, but it's really important to know that nothing changes until you're in action. Right? So then people will also ask, well, what if I fail? Right? Like, what if my confidence is already here, like flatlined, and then what happens? Like, do I go negative? Am I at negative confidence then? So you're going to fail. Everyone fails. No matter where you're at, you're going to fail at some things. The really important piece of that is to know that as long as you keep moving, that the things are going to shift naturally. And actually, let me rewind that. As long as you keep moving and reflecting on the wins, okay? As long as you keep moving and as long as you keep reflecting back on, like, what were my wins? What moved the needle? What was good? Because we tend to go, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working, but we need to stop and just say, oh, but this thing did kind of work. I did get a call off of that, so maybe I should keep going with that, right? So the other thing to really think about is just what is going to happen around you when your belief changes. So when your belief changes, that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone around you, that their beliefs are going to change as well. That could be your client, it could be your spouse, it could be your family, it could be your friends, right? And so as your beliefs are changing, we need to be really cognizant and aware that, like, we can't pull people into our beliefs. My husband's been doing a lot of work on himself, we've been working with the same beautiful, beautiful energy workers who we love so much. And, you know, before we started that work together, I was a little bit frustrated, and I was like, man, like, I don't understand why he can't see what I see and blah, blah, blah. And I'd done the work and he hadn't, right? Like, I cannot expect him to do that. I couldn't even expect him, honestly, to work with that, because that's his decision. That's not mine. He has his own free will, right? And so we can't expect other people to change their own beliefs around us. But what we can do is we can decide, like, you know, do we want to keep these people in our lives anymore? For me, a lot of time the answer is yes. There's been very few people in my life who I feel like the answer is just no. So a lot of times the answer is yes, but the way that I interact with that person is probably going to be different, right? Or I may not talk about my new set of beliefs just the same as you don't talk to a friend whose political beliefs don't align with yours. Like, you just know that if you talk to them about that thing, that, like, you're not going to move them, right? Like, politics is one of those things where we dig in our heels. Same with the beliefs. If we're not willing to actually change our beliefs, we dig in our heels, right? And we're like, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to change. You can't make me change. So just know that when you're shifting and you're changing and, you know, you're really building up this confidence, that is going to trigger some of the people around you. But instead of being like, oh my gosh, these people didn't grow with me, like, ew, I just need to rid them out of my life, like, that doesn't have to be the case, right? Like, it doesn't have to be the case. You can simply not talk about that part of your life. That's totally okay. If it's just really bothersome, like, you can sort of draw back from them a little bit and be like, you know, I just can't hang around you as much, or I need to hang around with a different perspective or a different attitude, or I need to just expect less of you, and that's totally okay. And then the last one that I hear all the time too is, the last thing that we want to consider is, will my belief be changed forever? So when you're in action and you start seeing, you know, will my belief be changed forever? Well, here's the thing. Our beliefs are always changing because our experiences are always changing, right? And so when I am, you know, when I'm thinking about something, it's really funny when I reflect back and I go, well, why is this happening? A lot of times the things that have happened, that are happening to me today, are very, very different than my experiences. And maybe the way that I handle things today are very, very different than I would have handled them 5, 6 years ago or 10 years ago, right? Because I'm changing and my beliefs are always changing. And that's totally okay. We're never the same person in any given moment than we are, you know, like, even right now in this moment at 2:47 p.m., right? Like, I'm a different person. My beliefs are different than they were at 2:46 p.m., right? Like, we are constantly evolving and shifting and changing. And so will your belief be changed forever? Well, you know, maybe your resolve in that belief will be much stronger. The more action that you see and the more wins that you stack, and the higher your confidence tower becomes, right? Like, if your confidence tower is this high, you're going to be much less likely, or much stronger in your resolve, I should say, than if your confidence stack was this high, right? Because then if a few blocks get knocked off, maybe here you're back down to 0, or you have a very small stack, but up here you're still pretty high, right? And so the more action that we take and the more that we can reflect back and start to build that stack of confidence, then when we do get set back, and we will, because life happens, when we do get set back, what will happen is that our resolve will still be there. We'll still have a high enough stack of confidence. But in the beginning, we might keep going back down to ground zero and face palming, right? Like, face palming, face planting, right? Just keep, like, boom, hitting the pavement. And when we hit the pavement, it's going to hurt, right? And we're going to be like, see, I knew this would happen. Like, I knew it would happen. And we need to get back up, and we need to trust that we need to actually even reflect back in to be like, oh, but wait, that felt really good when I got that little win, right? Like, it felt really good when I got that little win. And so I'm going to actually think on that instead of think on the fact that my, you know, nose is in the pavement right now. Hopefully that makes sense. So guys, it was so great being here with you guys today. My goodness, I am long-winded, right? Every time I do these things, they're like 20 minutes, but I am so excited to be here with you guys today. I have an invitation for you. I wanted to invite you to, into a complimentary client creation session. So this is something that I'm doing, over the next quarter at least. And I am going to be really helping people with who want to create more high ticket sales in their business. So if that is you, if you do want to create more high ticket sales in your business, what I invite you to do is to tell me just a little bit more about you and about your business, and then book a call together. And here's the thing, I'm going to share with you my entire client creation system. Okay. And at the end of the call, you can take that system and you can just use it if you want. Like, you can just go and apply it. We will still be friends. If at the end of the call, you want to hear a little bit more about what I'm doing, which is I'm going to be taking a very small group of people through this process at a much deeper level. We're going to be getting into the nitty gritty over a period of about 90 days. So if at the end of the call you decide, hey, I want to do this myself, cool, you can have the whole system, go do it yourself, right? I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to give that all to you. And if at the end of the call you want to hear a little bit more about how you can get some more help with that, I'd be happy to help you out with that as well. So if that's something that you want to do, go ahead and just inbox me. Okay, so you can just send my page a message. So click on my little name up there and then go to messages, inbox me and let me know. And I will see you guys actually tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be live streaming with my girl Erica Powell. We're going to be talking about branding and I'm super stoked about it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.